the tribal sentiment in Nigeria is on the increase. You can call it tribal bigotry. But the one that is actually on the front seat now is the legendary hate for the Igbos. Like, you can call it Igbophobia. Now, the Igbos have actually gone through a lot in Nigeria. There was a video that surfaced recently. I think it was Awolowo's wife, who actually confirms that even during the drafting of the first constitution, Sardauna and Awolowo wanted the regions to have option to opt out of Nigeria, but it was Zik that refused because of the belief they had in this singular entity called Nigeria. So, but why do other tribes actually hate the Igbos? I don't know if I'm using the right word if I say hate the Igbos, because there are no logical reasons to why this happened. But when you talk to them, there are a lot of things they throw up, like 1966 coup. Do you know, let me shock you. Do you know that the leader of that coup is not even from the current day southeast? It's from the people of Anioma, which is in current Delta State. The Anioma people are loved by these people who hate the Igbos. So if it was about 1966 coup, this is one of the things that nobody even talked about. Nziogu is not from any of these 5 core southeast states. It's from the Anioma people in Delta State. And majority of the Anioma people don't even believe they're Igbos now. But this particular event, as far as Nigeria exists, the Igbos will have to live with the consequences of this particular event. But nobody talks about the fact that even the leader is not from the core southeast state. So if it's about this 1966 coup, the Anioma people should have been the most hated singular people in the whole Nigeria. But that's not the issue. So if it's about this coup, why do people love the Anioma people and then hate the other guys who are actually part of the coup as the tribes like Yorubas? There are some Yorubas there. There are also some Hausas who are part of the coups. They say Igbos love money. Who doesn't like money, bro? The richest person in Nigeria is actually an Hausa person. Those guys who are on the Forbes, they are who have been on Forbes are actually the Yorubas, Femi Otedola, all those ones. How will you say that Igbos love money more than any other tribe? Where do you have any research that even the lootings and all those ones happening in Nigeria are done by the Igbos or Igbos alone? No. Now, let's go to the actual domination, because one of the longest serving professors of history from the Usman Danfodio University, Ahmed Bako, delivered a lecture some weeks ago, and it was in this domination he was talking about. If you listen to it, it was terrible, coming out from a professor who has been in that trade for more than 4 decades and a half. Domination, how? We are far from that. We are not even actually close to the levels of the government for a long time. We've not been presidents for above 60 years of this country. So how are we going to have that leverage to exert those kind of domination they are talking about? So when you place most of these points side by side with like trying to investigate them, you see that they fall flat to any preliminary investigation into how truthful they are. Now, the whole truth is, if you try to investigate an average person from the other tribes who like they exhibit this kind of hatred or this kind of trait towards the Igbos, we ask them why. They don't have any logical answer to this. The truth is that most of these who hate the Igbos don't even know why they do so. There is this kind of a cultural training from other sides where they are actually trained or brought up to fear the Igbos as people who are bad or people who want to hurt them. Now, I experienced this when I was in school. In my days in Yawatek in Lagos, I had a friend who told me that his father actually informed him that Igbos do eat human beings. He called one part of Abia State and said they eat. I told him that you watch a lot of Nollywood movies and those things don't actually happen in the Southeast. And he was shocked. And I told him that if you visit the Southeast, you don't have any mark on your face. That most Southerners will assume you are an Igbo person. And he was actually surprised. And let me say, fortunately, before we finished our program, he had opportunity to be in Owerri, capital of Imo State. And when he came back, he was shocked. He met me and said, "Guy, do you believe that when I was in the East, that he went to the market and people will, first of all, approach him as an Igbo person. They will speak Igbo to him. He will be able to inform them that I'm not Igbo." He said he was surprising. He said it was an eye-opener to him that people couldn't even recognize he's not a Yoruba person. When he came back, we had a lot of discussions. And I said, people are not into all these things. You people think that a lot of guys in the seats are discussing about you. They hate you. If you come to the East, they will kill you. Bro, we don't even care about all those things. And, this guy confessed to me. And I was so shocked. And a lot of things I've also noticed is that because we, the Southeasterners, the Igbos travel a lot, we move into other regions more than the other regions move into us. Now, an average Igbo guy, like majority of us, even if we don't live outside the East, would have gone out of the East 1 or 2 times. Had interaction with people from other tribes. And because of that, we don't actually see them as if they're against us. You understand? Majority of the Igbos, you can't sell this kind of tribal hatred to them. Because possibly they were born in the North, they've been in Lagos, maybe their parents or their relatives live outside the East. You understand? And they'll come back with all those kind of complaints. Or then they say we also brought up outside the Southeast. So I think most of those tribes don't actually travel the way we travel. And then it's very easy for them to say those kind of stereotypes about the Igbos to them in a very large. If you listen to this professor and the way he was talking about the stories he heard when he was younger, how the Igbos hated and killed their people during the coup. A lot of things happened during 1966 coup. Yeah, that's true. That's actually indefensible. But there are actually other counter coups that happened that Igbos died. And people don't assume, or Igbos don't talk about those coups that were targeted actually to the Igbos alone. There were actually other ones that happened. But it's only this 1966 coup that they said the Igbos were this, the Igbos were that. But the truth is, if we as young people must continue to call this country our own, we must define a path for ourselves where we have to do away with a lot of this ethnic bigotry. Because there's no way we want to stay together as a people, and people will call you migrant in your own country. You go to another part of the region and people are saying, you're not from this place. You are trying to take over our land. You are trying to dominate this place. Now, if people come and they are part of you, they do everything every other person is doing here. They obey the laws. Everything they are doing here is according to the law. And then they should have a say on how the governance of that place takes place. Because it affects them. It affects their business. They've spent the majority of the good part of their life in that place. This is where they call a home. Some of them have built houses there. This is where they give birth to all their children. And then they cannot even be part of the process. Or they cannot even say anything that will. You cannot even be part of a decision that will affect their business and affect their life as much as it affects yours. Just because they are not from their tribe or they be Ndubisi or be Namdi. So it's very disgusting. And this country cannot continue like this. If the Igbos are asked to go back to their place, the Igbos are asked to not participate in the electoral process in other places, not even to contest, but to vote. They are not actually supposed to vote because they are chasing domination. They are taking their land. Now, there have never been a case because these things, they are not actually facts to this. You can't point to a fact where Igbos are taking people's land by force. These land are acquired legitimately. You wanted to sell, there was a willing buyer and a willing seller and a willing buyer, and transaction took place, and possibly the person bought the land. You can also come to the Southeast and decide to buy land. I heard some other stories that Igbos don't like selling their lands. Jesus, this is not true. There are lands for sale in Southeast, and if you want to buy land in Enugu Estate, you can even chat us on, and we can show you plenty land you want to buy if you want to stay in Enugu. And these things, I see people talk about this in very ignorant kind of stuff. Igbos don't like selling their own land. And people want to buy land. Please chat us up if you need land. If you need more than 100 plus of land in Enugu, we can help you buy them as far as you can pay. So I don't understand this extreme bigotry and extreme hate against the Igbos. It's very disheartening, especially if you're a young person and you watch how these things play out. And there are a lot of stories that sometimes your hope in this country working will just vanish. If you see how divided we are internally. But as young boys, I think a lot of these things are passed down from our parents. They experience the war, they experience a lot of bad things, and we are not part of that generation. And then, but some of us picked up these things from our parents, and we don't even subject this thing to verifiable facts. Like, these guys could be I had classmates, very fantastic Yoruba outside guys. This was part of my schooling in the Kaduna, and then I finished up in Lagos. So I have fantastic guys, like who are Yorubas, who are Hausas, Bagi, some other tribes, very, very intelligent guys. And we move along, we do businesses, we have incorporated business where they're directors. So I don't understand where somebody will come and tell me that all Yorubas are wicked, all Yorubas are bigots. Those things are lie. I will not buy into it.